All right, so after putting one coat of carbon fiber on the hood, I need to also address this space. So using an angle grinder, about, I think it's like 80 grit, trying to get the foam off. But in the end, I kind of figured out, there is a better way. I'm also taking the time to just shape up the foam that's around the head because I still want this to be a good finish, even though you won't see it. So I found that a wire brush works the best. We're trying to get this foam scraped off of the head. So just mixing up the polyester resin, just making sure that the resin with the hardener is mixed very well because it's cold out, and if it's not mixed well, it won't dry well. So we're just gonna move it onto the foam and just spread it out. We wanna wet our surface first before we put down our fiberglass mat, but this is pretty quick job to get this done. It's definitely gonna add some strength to the actual piece. Fiberglass really doesn't work on plastic, so this is more or less just to cover up that foam to give it a hard surface because over time, I do believe that foam I might break down, so the spray foam that is, and I just wanted to put the fiberglass on there just to get some added protection because like I said before, I also want to go in and finish this area to make it look professional. Now, after receiving the results, this was what it looking like. Like I said, I still need to do some body work on this thing and actually build a cover piece for the underneath it. But man, it turned out great. I couldn't have asked for a better layup than this. Letting it dry for a couple hours, and now I'm getting ready to put everything back together because I need to put another coat of resin or carbon fiber on the hood. So I'm just going to sand it down, make sure that so our epoxy can get a good grab on it. I'm using 80 grit just to scuff it up. Once you get everything sanded, I'm just going to stick it back up here because I find it a better just to have it sitting where it needs to be. So, and then if you know anything about carbon fiber and epoxy, that kind of stuff shrinks or it can move. So I just want to make sure that it's going to be a nice and tight fit. So just laying the cloth up there, getting it exactly where I want it. And to get my cloth to stay, I'm just using some spray adhesive. Honestly, this 3M spray adhesive is not the best, but for what I'm doing, this works. But my favorite is the Gorilla adhesive. It seems to not react at all with the epoxy. So you just gotta know which ones that will react with the epoxy. But I finally figured it out. Gorilla spray adhesive is probably far less the best with doing this with this type of application. Then once you get it where you want to go back and cut this excess. That's just something less that you won't have to do once everything gets hardened. So it's easier to cut now to get it where you want it. And then you can just put your epoxy over it and you don't have to worry about trying to trim afterwards and make a mistake. Okay, so I got a lot of comments about people asking about the epoxy. They've used epoxy, and sometimes it take a couple days for it to get hardened. And here's my trick: you want to make sure you mix epoxy very, very well. If it's not mixed well, it will not dry. And also, you want to make sure that your temperature in that room is above freezing, because that also will slow down the drying process. So just making sure it's mixed well, make sure your temperature is where it needs to be. This will turn out exactly how you'd like. Lastly, we're just going to take a heat gun to get any air bubbles, and also it helps smooth out the epoxy where it has pooled up. But other than that, this was a great layup. Thank y'all for watching. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. This Grim Reaper build is going to be next level. So thank y'all so much for the support, and I'll see you on the next one.